I came across this kid, and I say kid because he's like 16 years old, who's legit. And at the end of the day, you gotta respect the craft. And this kid is good. Now, I don't know if he does all his own editing. I assume he does because he only has about 5 videos. And right now, as of March 9th, 2025, he has 124,000 subscribers. He posted his first video a year ago. He only has 5 videos. One of the videos I found very interesting is him teaching you how to edit. The crazy thing about this is he not only teaches you how to edit to make the audience engaged, he's doing that in the video, teaching you how to edit by the way he's editing. It's wild. Inception, for sure. I'm gonna react to his video and just sort of walk through what he's doing. So yeah, let's enjoy it together and let's just dice it up. Well, let's just figure out his key. This YouTube thing is hard.
Imagine your editing is so good that your viewers can't resist watching until the end. I want that for you, so I've boiled down my years of editing experience into a 4-pillar formula. By the way, you'll have to take notes today because we are going way deeper than basic things like cutting out dead space. Editing is so much more than that, and let's be real, your video deserves so much more than that. A great edit.
Okay, just off the bat, he spends the first 30 minutes capturing you, giving you the hook. Within the 30 seconds, he explains to you what you deserve, that your videos deserve the most. Not only that, his audio is great, the editing is great, so you're already hooked. He's telling you what he's going to present, and he's sectioning it off for you on your behalf so that you know what to expect.
Editing style may get you perfect watch time and millions of views, but it may also leave you with terrible view counts and broken dreams. To figure out why, let's start with this.
Using a real life example.
It's just this guy, Sam, in his car talking and then working out. The video lasts 26 minutes but has just 17 cuts and no other form of editing. How many views? How many subscribers?
Alright, here's an interesting thing. How did he get this? How did he get access to this? Is he the editor?
Cuts and no other form of editing.
And what I really like about this is that he's not only explaining to you the problem, showing to you what he's trying to explain.
Editing. How many views? How many subscribers do you expect him to have? So this means that editing.
This is wild too. This, like, he presents you with the problem and then he shows you the answer, or he presents you with a question and then he shows you the answer. Just a simple editing, making your eye focus on what he's trying to reveal, which makes it engaging.
So this means that,
and it also gives you that shock factor.
That editing is optional, right? Wait, slow down. That's not what's going on here. Sam did edit. He cut out all the boring parts that the viewer didn't come to see, but he left it at that because his viewers aren't looking for a super stimulating experience. They just want to feel like they're spending time with someone. A bunch of quick cuts and flashy animations would ruin that authentic experience that the viewer wanted. And guess what? A disruption of what the viewer came to the video for is the best way to make them stop watching. And while Sam edits with an average of...
I want to go back here. This, to me, is a little bit of a filler. Probably the worst part of the video so far, because this B-roll is like, you know, to me it's just very, very fake, which it is, because he's trying to act, right? And I do see a lot of that all over YouTube, is people putting in the B-roll and just sort of, you know, acting, right? And not realizing how difficult it is to act myself as well. And yeah, but just a really, but I appreciate that he's doing this. so that it makes the point of his video.
Authentic experience that the viewer wanted. And guess what? A disruption of what the viewer came to the video for is the best way to make them stop watching. And while Sam edits with an average of 90 seconds between cuts, MrBeast does quite the opposite. So if both editing styles work, what should you do? Start with considering what experience your viewers want. Sam's editing tells us that millions of people come to YouTube to feel like they're hanging out with someone. MrBeast's rapid fire style shows that a ton of people go on YouTube for entertainment. All your editing choices contribute to that experience. For example, cutting out all your pauses so that you're speaking constantly is easily the most important thing for entertainment, but it takes away from authenticity. An effective editing style takes all these choices into account. So as I reveal the
Let's go back a little bit. I don't know about you, but so far I'm so engaged because of the animations that he has. And I don't even know what he's doing to create these things, which I'm very curious about, because as I was saying in one of my other videos, in my mind, I want to do something like this, but I have no idea how to do it. You know, and I'm sure it takes time to even do this particular clip, which is why he releases a video every, 4 weeks or so, because he spends so much time with this type of animation, assuming that maybe he's the one doing it, right?
Count. So as I reveal the reasoning behind my editing for my first 3 uploads, take notes on what you should add to your own videos based on what suits your audience the best. This video is not a bunch of tutorials, it's a handbook to addictive editing. Think of it as a foundational starting point to know what tutorials you should
Again, that transition, clean.
even watch in the first place. I want you to look at this. There's a problem here. This is the timeline of a typically edited YouTube video. A couple cuts have removed the unnecessary bits. There was a tangent here that wasn't really relevant to the video's greater purpose. These cuts removed pauses, and these removed bad takes. But in its current form, this video is doomed to fall short of its potential. The reason is this video isn't using its visuals to maximize attention. Think about this. When you see a change in your vision, like something moving abruptly, it gets your attention.
See what he did there? He told you a situation of something moving abruptly, and he used his editing to show exactly that.
Same is true for watching a video, and here there's only 3 different things to look at in the span of a minute. Kinda boring. But if the video were to switch between A-roll, B-roll, and other types of footage
color coordination to explain to you exactly what he's trying to explain, and you look at these A-roll, B-roll, etc., and they're the same color, it just allows the video to translate exactly what he's trying to say.
every few seconds, it would keep attention much better. However, there is a drawback to changing what's on screen too much. Try to notice it as we go over how different types of footage should be used to maximize engagement. A-roll. This is when you can both see and hear the subject at the same time. It feels personal and holds attention really well if you're speaking with confidence. Use it for short periods of time when you're saying something important. B-roll. This is extra footage recorded separately from the audio. It creates a visual depiction of your words, letting the viewer see what you're talking about instead of just having to look at your face. This lets you get things across much more clearly, and faster too. It's more interesting than A-roll, so use it as much as possible. Some variants of B-roll are stock footage, which is just a lazy version, and motion graphics. These improve explanation times a ton. Look at how quickly a complicated thing was explained in this Dude Perfect video.
Did you find something?
Nope. I found a suspicious-looking math problem over by the pool table, and it appears that I need to use the pool balls and the numbers on them to form some kind of solution.
You really need to understand how crucial that editing choice was. That was an essential but boring moment in the video's story. Any attempt to use A-roll or a normal B-roll in this moment would either be too slow or terribly confusing, both of which would lose viewers. But an animation explained it.
This clip here is very interesting because for those who understand or recognize this, this is essentially like animations on Adobe Premiere Pro. And the four cue balls turn, and he's showing you this turn animation. So this is very subtle, but I feel like this is very powerful.
Crystal clear and fast. That's the sort of editing choice you need to make to create an addictive video. If you've been following my channel, then you've probably noticed I've only uploaded 3 videos. And with that, I've gotten over 300,000 views and like 13,000 subscribers. What makes it crazier is that I haven't promoted these videos anywhere. I just uploaded them on YouTube and they did great completely by themselves because of all the YouTube knowledge I've gotten over the years. I got a channel last year that I got to like 60,000 subscribers and over 24 million views. So naturally, I've been getting a ton of comments and emails of people.
So it's clear that he had other channels in the past, and you can see there's about 65 videos that he's done, or was it 60 going back? So he did 45 videos. He clearly had other channels, and he's worked towards figuring out the formula. You can clearly see that he's obsessed about this craft, and then he decided to create a new channel with the skills he's already learned to challenge himself in getting all these viewers and subscribers. And now he's ultimately selling a class, teaching us how to do it. And so this whole YouTube market is fascinating. You have people on YouTube creating videos for people who want to do YouTube, and the people who want to do YouTube is on YouTube consuming these things. And YouTube as a company, they don't care. They just want you to stay on the platform. And at the end of the day, ad revenue pays for most of these things. And for the people who are working towards something like this, they offer online courses, so they sell that. There are brand partnerships. And so I feel like for most people on YouTube, it's not really about YouTube paying them. It's about the opportunities that they get from doing YouTube. So good for him, really.
So naturally, I've been getting a ton of comments and emails of people asking me to help them out. So I wanted to let you know that I'm releasing my calendar below, but it's for serious creators only. If that sounds interesting to you, then you can book a call below to learn how to grow your YouTube channel. And by the way, the spots are extremely limited at the moment, so don't miss out. Now, you probably remember from earlier, there's a drawback to cutting between different clips a ton. All of this visual variety can quickly become visual mush if you're doing it wrong. Let's say you want to be engaging, so you're trying to cut between different clips literally as much as possible.
You see how he did visual mush, and then he makes it all red? So visually, he's already telling you, influencing your thoughts.
Making things confusing, which hurts engagement. To avoid that, don't minimize shot duration just for the sake of minimizing shot duration. It's okay to leave the same clip on screen for 10 seconds if it's interesting for 10 seconds. And oftentimes, adding some
very important
engagement spice to your video doesn't even require cutting to another clip. Instead, use some of these tricks to make things way more immersive. First, give some movement to any boring still clips you have. Make either the scale or position slowly change, or even better, make things fancy by changing the perspective. You can also do more abrupt scale changes to draw attention.
See how he said add movement, and then the next 10 seconds is all movement through animation, which I'm very curious how he does, because I don't know how to do it and I want to do it. And you know, that's one of the biggest challenge when it comes to doing something new and not knowing what to do or where to start. But it's a huge learning curve, and it's all about growth, right? And you have YouTube to teach you.
Attention to certain things. For example, when I say something important in an A-roll segment, I'll zoom in close to my face to subtly communicate to the viewer that they should listen up. You might also make...
I would zoom in, then he shows you in the edit, zooming in, the action of zooming in on Adobe Pro.
Wiggle keyframes. That's when you see images or text or maybe the whole video shaking around.
Images or text. My God, this kid is good.
never see me doing this because I don't like the way it looks, but if you want to do it, then go ahead. Next, throw on a bunch of visuals on top of your footage. Many people make the mistake
Showing you this sort of locked, censored icon and then exposing it, but then you're in the back of your mind, you're kind of like, well, I want to see what the other two locks are. And so you wait for it, and therefore you watch more of the video, and therefore it tells YouTube that people are engaged, that people like this video, people are staying here, and then YouTube promotes that channel even more.
of adding captions just to jack up the visual variety. But don't forget that drawback that we talked about. Using captions to fill in dead space can quickly become obnoxious and ruin a great opportunity to use a more engaging visual. So I only use captions when I want the viewer to understand and pay closer attention to certain words. But if there's really nothing else to put on screen, captions are often still...
Do you think he would have did the word certain words, and then before obnoxious was red, and I was thinking the word opportunity would have been green, but it's okay. Maybe that's too obnoxious, right?
Nothing. Also keep them to 3 words or less at a time because it makes them easier to read. Now, let's say you're showing an image to the viewer. If you plainly show the whole thing like this, it's boring. And more important,
this is the crutch for me because I'm still learning how to use Adobe Pro. I literally just subscribed to it 3 weeks ago. And I'm so new to this. I want to do all these things, but I don't know what to do or how to do it. And doing it takes time, right? Again, this is what I'm doing. I'm showing the whole screen, but what he's gonna say is you need to highlight certain things so that it forces your eye to move and focus, and it's easier to consume, easier to understand.
importantly, it's confusing. To make things crystal clear and create some visual variety, guide the viewer's attention to the focus point of the image. Here are 6 ways that I do that, which go beyond just scaling and positioning. Take notes, because this is what gives you professional looking timelines like these.
Here's that second one, right?
Animate the most important piece of text or area of the image being highlighted.
He not only animates it and makes your eye go towards it, but he also adds the sound, the scribbling, highlighting sound.
Darken or blur the area that surrounds the focus point of the image. Shift the hue of the image to make it red, and it gives the image a negative connotation. You can also shift it to yellow or green to make it seem positive. Circles, arrows, and underlines also work. Oh, and one extra. Make the subject glow. Another immersion hack is to just...
Like, yes, great, but how do I do it?
Make the video look good. This could be color grading, adding a vignette, or some subtle particle animations. On the topic of making things look good, let's bring our focus to making things feel good. This next pillar...
The whole color thing, we can probably figure out. And then the whole little stars in the back is probably a filter over it, so you're layering an image, which is behind this thing. But the animation is what I don't know how to do. And even just doing this particular scene alone, I'd have to spend maybe half an hour trying to figure it out. And even so, it won't look as nice. But it is a start, right? We are learning, we are growing.
On the topic of making things look good, let's bring our focus to making things feel good. This next pillar literally makes your video a digital morphine stream. So we've talked about visual variety, but now let's talk about visual continuity. If you manage to create a seamless feed of visuals, then there's no rough edges, no areas for distraction to build up, there's no point where the viewer loses immersion. The goal for this pillar is to make every moment blend into the next seamlessly. The editing should be invisible, the experience mesmerizing. Anytime a graphic comes on screen, it can't just magically appear there. That doesn't make sense. It needs to somehow move into the frame. Check the description for my free presets. Now, you don't have to
See how it moved into the frame? This kid's inception. Like, it's the next level.
animate things. You can also let something magically appear on screen, but then explain how it got there using a sound effect.
That right there is him explaining how it's done while doing it for you in Adobe Premiere Pro.
How it got there using a sound effect. I like to use this shutter sound effect, but a pop sound or something like that also works. Now this is super important. Look, I just made a cut, but I messed up the most crucial rule of doing a cut. In the last frame of this first clip, the viewer is looking right here in my eyes. Then a tiny...
Hold up. Did he do the look? Let's go back.
Look, I just made a cut, but I messed up the most crucial rule of doing a cut. In the last frame of this first clip, the viewer is looking right here in my eyes. Then a tiny fraction of a second later, in the first frame of the second clip, the viewer is now expected to look here. That's a little jarring, and it breaks some...
Okay, that is actually pretty good advice. The fact that he played that he edited that part with the word look, forced you to make that abrupt mistake, and then explain to you through the editing, through his editing, through this video on how to do it or what he did wrong.
Some of the immersion that your editing should be providing. Imagine if every cut the viewer had to keep changing focus from one side of the screen all the way to the other. This right here is a pretty unimmersive viewing experience. Another way to make cuts seamless is using a full screen transition. There's plenty of free packs out there, but if you like my subtle style of them, then I got something for you in the description. And don't be afraid to break visual continuity every now and then, because remember, it jolts the viewer. It'll get their attention. Look at this timeline. We've been talking about all these ways to make the video visually addicting to watch, but we've been leaving out the other half of the video. There is a whole nother
Audio.
sense for your viewer to experience the video in. Pillar 4, immersive audio. Sound design makes the viewer experience every cut, transition, animation, and piece of footage through a second sense. It's literally double the stimulation, and it can be used to influence the mood that the viewer has, which is an engagement superpower that we'll talk about more once we get to your music choice. But for now, the first step of sound design is to gather a bunch of sounds to work with. I already got that for you. Start with that free sound design pack of copyright-free sounds that I made for you in the description. If you need more, check out freesound.org or get Epidemic Sound. Next, go through your video and basically just add sound effects where...
Download that now. It's gonna be in my description too.
Ever it makes sense. When something moves, you should add a whoosh sound, and when something's highlighted, a highlight sound. Now comes the engaging part.
That highlight sound.
These next 3 types of sound effects literally hijack your viewer's emotions and suck them into the video. First are risers. They build tension and anticipation because they communicate to the audience that something really important is about to happen, but only use them if something important is actually going to happen, or else they will lose their reputation and won't be effective. Next,
I think I will 100% struggle with this in terms of finding the right places to do these things, but also getting the files, right? I've never really looked into these files until he mentioned it on this video. And I did have Epidemic Sound, but it was just too much for a beginner, you know? It was just overwhelming for a beginner.
are hits. These release tension and emphasize moments, making them feel important.
The crazy thing is, like, while we're watching this video, he has those exact sound in the background. He's playing that tension, and then meanwhile, he had this click sound to start the audio. As he plays it, that particular sound is emphasized, while everything, this tension sound is still going on in the background. Let's go back and listen to that.
Something important is actually going to happen, or else they will lose their reputation and won't be effective. Next are hits. These release tension and emphasize moments, making them feel important. You can use these on their own or place a riser before them. It depends on the situation. And again, don't overdo them. Finally, drones. These create a feeling of mystery and intrigue. They're reserved more for darker moods, creating a lot of underlying suspense. These sound effects are so good because they kind of manipulate the viewer's emotions, which is so...
This is true, and it's always been true. And we know that it's true. The movies, the scary movies, the music, they manipulate and they tell you how you should be feeling. But you know, these are all the tricks that make video production good.
So powerful because the more emotionally invested the viewer is, the more engaged they are. And these sound effects are just the tip of the iceberg to achieve this. Below the surface is a massive potential for emotional investment, your music choice. For example, I like to find songs that create a feeling of anticipation, which makes the viewer constantly believe I'm about to say something super important. Then during a segment where I'm giving groundbreaking advice, I use a song that gives an innovative feeling, which creates a ton of excitement over what I'm saying. This is super...
The anticipation sound that he probably looked up is in the background as we watch him explain something with anticipation.
Super straightforward to pull off. Separate your video based on subject changes, and then decide the mood the viewer should have for each subject. By the way, you should spend a lot of time finding the right music because it is really important that it fits. You can find some good copyright-free songs on the YouTube audio library, and there's the occasional gem artist like LearnbyLeo which offers free songs. But to be honest, subscribing to a licensed music platform is the best choice if you're gonna take YouTube seriously. I'm not sponsored, but I saved like 4 hours with them last time, and
He should probably be sponsored.
I found way better songs. I have an affiliate link for them in the description. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but there's even more you can do with your music choice to immerse the viewer. Like, what do you think happens if you pause the music abruptly? The sudden change will jolt the viewer, getting their attention. Also, the lack of music...
He actually did that a couple seconds back.
Also, the lack of music brings attention to other parts of the video. So for special moments, try pausing the music to elevate that moment. Now, what if you instead let the music slowly fade out? Once the viewer notices that the music is going away, they'll understand that the segment they're watching is coming to a close. This realization gives them anticipation of something new coming. Okay, let's get even more advanced. Beyond just making the mood of the song match the tone of the segment it's in, upgrade your music by syncing the hits and dips of the song to the video. For example, in this segment, I introduced the problem here.
He's now talking like next level advanced stuff, which is great and which is what made his video so successful.
And began teaching the solution here. I line things up so that at this exact moment the music picks up. Doing that marks a clear topic shift from problem to solution, and also makes the solution segment more exciting. And if you're wondering why I have 4 music tracks playing at the same time, it's because I downloaded the separate elements of the song. That's another feature of Epidemic Sound which is super helpful. Alright, I hope that helped. Now, there's a lot more to retention, so click here for a video on that, and then if you're interested in that call thing, then
Call to action.
there's a link below.
Wow. Just wow. This kid is legit, and he's only 16 years old, so he has a long way to go, and he's just gonna get better. So I give him a lot of props. I learned a lot, and I hope that this video was entertaining for you and will help you on your YouTube journey, as I hope it's gonna help mine. But you can clearly see that there is a lot of work for this, and you know, you just have to take it one day at a time. But yeah, until next time, I hope you enjoy these videos. Let me know if you want to see more of these reaction videos of me explaining and breaking down at least how I'm reacting to it. Thank you for your time, and I hope you found joy in this.